GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, Montreal. I'm Mark Beaumont. Lachine residents are being asked to curb water use after the borough hit the city's vigilance list, and downtown construction will be monitored by drones this summer. Meanwhile, a strike is snarling traffic and cutting STM service. Emma, what's your take?
This Saturday evening, Parc Jean Drapeau will host the Montreal International Street Food Festival, featuring over 40 vendors serving dishes from 30 different countries.
The festival runs from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m., includes live music stages, and offers a family-friendly zone with cooking demonstrations and games.
Tickets are free, but visitors are encouraged to pre-register online. The organizers expect attendance of approximately 10,000 people based on last year's turnout.
All right, let's get into it, starting with the Lachine water conservation request, the downtown drone deployment update, and the latest Dollarama sales figures. Tonight we turn our focus to the stories shaping Montreal, from a breakthrough in local transit to the voices driving our vibrant arts scene. City officials announced today that Lachine has been placed on the municipal vigilance list, triggering an immediate request for residents to curb their drinking water use. The warning comes as the city's water system faces island-wide supply constraints, and engineers say they lack the capacity to shut off the network in any sector. Authorities urged households to cut non-essential consumption such as lawn watering, car washing, and prolonged showers while continuing to meet basic needs. The city's water department emphasized that the reduction request is a preventative measure, not a prelude to service interruption. Lachine's Borough Council will monitor usage and report back to the mayor's office. The city has already asked several other boroughs, including Verdun and St. Henry, to adopt similar cuts. Officials said the call for restraint will remain in effect until the broader supply situation improves.
Police announced today that a coordinated multi-agency raid has dismantled a vehicle theft ring believed to be linked to the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. The operation, led by the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal in partnership with provincial and federal units, targeted several locations across the island. Officers seized dozens of stolen vehicles, recovered a cache of tools used to bypass electronic security systems, and arrested a number of suspects suspected of orchestrating the network. Authorities said the ring had been responsible for a surge in high-value auto thefts over the past year, funneling the stolen cars to a black market that included cross-border shipments. The police indicated that ongoing investigations will continue to explore additional connections to organized crime, and that further charges may be laid as evidence is processed.
The Direction de la Protection de Jeunesse in Montreal disclosed that during the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year, it handled a volume of child protection reports 3 times higher than the provincial average. The agency, which serves as Quebec's Child Welfare Authority, said the surge underscores the pressure on its regional offices. Officials presented the findings on Thursday, noting that every report triggers an assessment by social workers and, when warranted, protective measures for vulnerable children. Comparisons show that while other regions processed roughly 1 report per case, Montreal's offices logged 3 for each. The data will inform resource allocation and staffing decisions as the province seeks to balance workloads across its network. No further details on the causes of the disparity were released. The Ministry of Families and Seniors has been asked to review funding levels, and community groups are monitoring the situation closely.
Sales at Dollarama jumped more than 20% this quarter, the Montreal discount chain announced today. The surge comes as consumer confidence across the province is slipping, yet shoppers are turning to low-price options. Company executives said the strong numbers could be tempered if the war in Iran drags on, warning that higher freight and energy costs might force a revision of their sales outlook. Analysts noted that the increase reflects a broader shift toward value-focused buying as households tighten budgets. Dollarama did not disclose the exact figure for the rise, but highlighted that the growth outpaced expectations set earlier in the year. The retailer said it will monitor the geopolitical situation closely and adjust its forecasts should operating expenses continue to rise. The rise was recorded despite a recent dip in consumer confidence. If the conflict pushes shipping rates higher, Dollarama expects profit margins to feel the pressure.
CF Montreal announced today that head coach Thierry Eulefroy will remain at the helm through the conclusion of the campaign. The club confirmed the decision after Ulafroy stepped into the role in April, following the departure of former manager Marco Donadel. Management said the move provides stability as the team prepares for the final stretch of the MLS schedule. Ulafroy, who guided the side through the early months, will continue to oversee training, tactics, and player development until the season's end. Ulafroy, a former player with extensive coaching experience in the French leagues, expressed gratitude for the trust placed in him and pledged to keep the team focused on its objectives. Fans can expect the coach to lead the side in its upcoming home match at Stade Saputo later this week. The announcement comes as the squad eyes a strong finish and hopes to improve on its mid-table position. Up next, we'll break down Pascal Vincent's move from the Rocket to Seattle and its impact on Montreal hockey. We will be right back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the break. Now, Emma Leclerc is ready to bring you the latest local stories shaping our Montreal community.
Good evening, I'm Emma Leclerc. After 2 seasons guiding the La Rocket, Pascal Vincent announced he is stepping down as head coach to join the Seattle Kraken as an assistant coach. The move was confirmed on June 11th, and it marks his first role away from the Canadiens organization. Vincent guided the Rocket through a rebuilding year, helping young prospects develop while keeping the team competitive. Seattle's front office said they value his experience in nurturing talent, a skill that resonates with fans who follow the pipeline to the NHL. For local supporters, his departure means a new chapter for the Rockets' coaching staff and a reminder of how our AHL talent can reach the league's western coast. We'll keep an eye on how both clubs adjust in the coming months.
Starting this summer, the city will put drones over the downtown core to keep an eye on construction progress. Officials say the aerial units will fly over selected sites, checking whether work is finished or if any activity falls outside approved plans. By spotting issues early, they hope to cut down the road closures and lane reductions that often jam commuters during rush hour. The move comes as downtown streets regularly slow to crawl because of ongoing builds. With real-time data, crews can address problems before they spill onto the pavement, easing the horns and dust that residents hear and see each day. That means fewer unexpected lane changes and less noise from equipment during the busy evening rush. The program aims to make the summer commute smoother while still allowing the city's development projects to move forward.
Early Thursday morning, police began a high-speed pursuit of 2 suspects in Mirabel. The chase ended abruptly when the fleeing vehicle slammed into a Hydro-Quebec utility pole, sending the car into a violent crash. Emergency crews arrived quickly, and both occupants were taken to hospital. One of the injured remains in critical condition while the other sustained less severe injuries. Hospital staff reported that the crash caused significant damage to the pole, prompting a temporary power outage in the immediate area. Hydro-Quebec crews worked through the morning to secure the site and begin repairs, assuring residents that service would be restored within a few hours. Police are now investigating the circumstances that led to the pursuit and the subsequent collision. No further details about the suspects' alleged offenses have been released at this time. Authorities noted that the collision damaged the pole and required specialized repair work.
Quebec's government announced today a revised target for electric vehicle adoption. By 2035, 80% of all new vehicle sales in the province must be electric, up from the previous goal. The shift comes as officials seek to accelerate the transition to cleaner transportation and meet climate commitments. Industry groups say the new benchmark will require dealers and manufacturers to expand electric model availability and invest in charging infrastructure. Consumers can expect a broader range of electric options at showrooms in the coming years, while the province plans incentives to support the change. The policy adjustment was unveiled on June 11th, signaling a decisive step toward reducing emissions and aligning Quebec with broader North American clean mobility objectives. Regulations will soon require dealers to meet the quota, and the province will add chargers.
Justice Alexander Pless issued an order on June 11th that stops the city from dismantling a homeless tent encampment. The decision bars the planned removal scheduled for this week, citing constitutional guarantees of safety, security, and dignity for people experiencing homelessness. The ruling means the encampment will remain in place while authorities consider alternative solutions. City officials said they will review the order and work with service providers to address housing needs. Residents near the site will see the tent stay for now, and social agencies will continue offering assistance to those living on the streets. The injunction also pauses any demolition of the makeshift structures, allowing volunteers to distribute meals and blankets. Community groups have expressed relief that families will not be displaced overnight. The city had allocated resources for a relocation plan, which now must be reassessed in light of the court's directive.
Now let's turn to the evening forecast with our weather team, Alex.
Evening settles over Montreal, and here's how tonight's weather will shape your plans for the evening. On this day, the city saw a scorching record high of 29.6 degrees set in 2017, a peak that rode the tail of an intense heat wave across the province. Just a year later, in 2018, Montreal endured an unexpected cold snap that drove the record low down to 8.7 degrees. By comparison, today's climate normals hover around a comfortable 26 degrees for the high and 15 degrees for the low, reminding us how variable June can be. Right now, the sky is mainly clear, and the temperature sits at 28 degrees, feeling like 30, with humidity around 63% and a gentle breeze from the west at 11 kilometers per hour. By 7 o'clock, the clouds will thicken, turning the view overcast while the temperature holds steady at 28 degrees. Tonight's low will dip to 22 degrees, offering a comfortable night for any late-night stroll. There is no rain in the forecast, and the UV index remains modest at 5. No weather alerts are active, so you can enjoy the evening without concern. As we look ahead, the next few days promise a mix of sunshine and occasional showers, which we'll explore now. Looking ahead, Friday brings a warm stretch with a high of 32 degrees and a cool low of 17 degrees under a clear sky, perfect for outdoor plans. Saturday cools down to a high of 25 degrees and a low of 17, staying mainly clear, but with a 25% chance of a brief shower in the afternoon. Sunday turns wetter as the high settles at 24 degrees and the low at 16, and rain dominates the day with an 85% probability, so keep an umbrella handy. Monday eases back to milder conditions, high 20 and low 14, partly cloudy and dry. Tuesday remains gentle, high 17, low 13, partly cloudy with a small 20% chance of rain, rounding out a varied week.
Later we'll unpack today's traffic snarls, the Habs double NHL honors and the reopening of La Nadia Bar in OshalaHka. We will be right back.
Major slowdown on Autoroute 40 between the Laurentides Interchange and Boulevard de l'Acadie. The Laurentides Interchange itself is gridlocked, with stopped traffic and long queues. Drivers heading east should consider detouring onto Boulevard St. Laurent or use Autoroute 15 south via the Décarie Interchange, where a major blockage at the Marcel Lauren access is also causing delays. On Autoroute 15, the Décarie Interchange backs up, especially for southbound traffic. Minor slowdowns persist on Autoroute Métropolitaine near Boulevard Lacordaire and on its service road. Construction on the Autoroute 3040 interchange in Lavaltrie continues, but traffic there remains moderate. On the transit side, the SDM strike has cut bus and metro service to peak hour only, with 50% frequency reductions outside those times. Expect longer waits and crowded trains on the green and orange lines. If you can, shift to carpool or rideshare and allow extra time for your evening commute.
There are no verified listings available for today. And now here's Jason with sports.
Double hardware for the Habs and a playoff run that came up short. Montreal is celebrating 2 NHL award winners. Captain Nick Suzuki has claimed the Frank J. Selk Trophy, recognizing the league's top defensive forward. Teammate Cole Caulfield earned the Lady Byng Trophy. 2 major honors for the Canadiens, announced Friday by the NHL according to CBC Sports. The Canadiens' playoff run ended in the Eastern Conference Final against Carolina. Logan Stankoven scored one of 3 first-period goals in Game 5 as the Hurricanes eliminated Montreal and advanced to the Stanley Cup Final. CBC Sports reported the early burst proved too much for the Habs to overcome. An emotional goodbye in Montreal. Brendan Gallagher, described by CBC Sports NHL as the longest-serving Canadian, announced he is moving on from the only NHL franchise he has ever known. Gallagher said it is time to, quote, find a new home, closing the chapter on a lengthy career in blue, Blanquette Rouge.
La Nadia, the women-focused sports bar in the heart of OshalaHka, has thrown its doors open again after several weeks of closure. The venue serves craft drinks and casual fare while streaming women's soccer, hockey, and basketball, giving fans a place to celebrate victories that rarely get airtime. Owner and former athlete Aisha Boussachar has added weekly watch parties and a rotating mural by local artists, turning the bar into a living tribute to women's sport. Its reopening restores a rare inclusive gathering spot, energizing the neighborhood's already lively nightlife and spilling a welcoming buzz onto Rue St. Maurice. For Montrealers who crave community as much as competition, La Nadia reminds us that the city's pulse quickens when everyone can cheer together. Stay tuned for a story as La Nadia, the women's sports bar in OshalaHka, swings its doors open again after weeks closed. On the bustling Rue St. Laurent, just a few blocks from the Old Port, a group of provincial engineers gathered beneath the amber glow of a street lamp. They had stepped out of the office building that morning, not for a protest march but for a quiet moment of solidarity with their neighbors. A local bakery set up a modest table offering fresh croissants and steaming coffee, while a group of high school students from a nearby school painted bright Merci signs on cardboard. The scent of butter and the soft hum of conversation turned the corner into a spontaneous celebration of community. As the sun slipped behind Mount Royal, a retired carpenter named Luke stepped forward, handing each engineer a hand-stitched bracelet he'd made from leftover yarn, whispering, "Your work keeps our city moving and we stand with you." The simple gesture sparked a ripple of smiles, and for a few minutes the street felt like a living tapestry of gratitude. In Montreal, we find strength in each other, and tonight that promise feels as steady as the river that runs through our city.
Emma Leclerc on St. Laurent Boulevard in the heart of the Plateau, a red sign now reads energy drinks not for those under 16. The change came after the province announced a ban on selling caffeinated boosters to anyone under 16, with fines for stores that ignore the rule. Local grocer Marie-Claude smiled as she placed the new signage on the counter, noting that families have already thanked her for the clarity. Across the street, a group of 12-year-old friends gathered for a sidewalk chess tournament, their laughter unaccompanied by the buzz of a can. Parents like Jacques, who runs a nearby bike shop, say the ban removes a silent pressure to hand a sugary lift to kids after school. "It's a relief," he told me, knowing the choices are healthier and the conversation stays simple. Co-anchor, so what does this mean for our kids on a typical Saturday afternoon? The community feels a sigh of relief as the focus shifts back to playgrounds, books, and the joy of a cold water bottle after a bike ride. It's a small step that makes a big difference for the next generation.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight's look at the police bust of a vehicle theft ring tied to the Hells Angels reminded us how community comes together in tough times. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our city. Until then, stay safe and enjoy the evening.